What do we do with our feelings?
We hide them in our muscles.
And how do we hide our feelings better?
We get bigger muscles.
We get bigger muscles.
What's up guys, it's Brian here from Audio Geek. I'm back again with another review. This time we've got the TRN ST1. This forms part of the three units that I received from TRN that goes with their back to school promotion. I've also have a competition going on my Facebook group for the Seahorse earbuds. So you guys must go check out my Facebook group. There's a nice giveaway there. I'm also going to add a nice coupon code that was given to me by TRN for the ST1, which you can add to the back to school discount and get this at a steal. So the guys at TRN, they're making nice budget stuff, man, and it's good quality, the ones I've reviewed so far. So we have to see if this ST1 also lives up to the expectations. But without further ado, let's get into the unboxing. If we check out the unboxing, comes in the same little sturdy box that the MT4 Pro came in. A little bit bigger than a pack of cigarettes. There's a drawing of the ST1 on the front. On the side it says the color that I'm getting the magenta blue. On the back is the specs. It's pretty normal stuff, this. It's a slide over cover, and if you slide it over, you are greeted by the faceplates covered in some little transparent cover. We will get into these faceplates in the look and build section, but I can tell you now they look really nice. Oh, and at the back there's different colors. So there's like a purple one and a blue one. This is actually very cool. I like this. Then you've got a little sealed packet and another little sealed packet, and then obviously your instruction booklet. Pretty normal stuff for a budget. There's no carrying case. If I open this up, I suspect this is going to be the cable. Let's see, man, they seal these things tight. I always battle to open them with my big hands. Now this is a black cable. Also the same type of material as the white cable that came with the MT4 Pro. We will get into it with the look and build section, and then this must be the tips. Let's just see what they are made of. If I can get this thing open. Oh, there we go. Yeah, these are just your normal silicone tips. Pretty average stuff. I would say it's balanced tips. Balanced to narrow bore. It's in between balanced and narrow bore tips. One pair of tips you're getting here. That's it for the unboxing experience. Not a lot to write home about, but I mean, for the price, you're not going to expect anything more here. So yeah, let's get over to the look and build. When I'm looking at the way these are built, I'm actually getting KZ ZSN Pro vibes. Yeah, the ZSN Pro was the very first in-ear monitor I ever owned way back years ago, and this is giving me the same vibe. Faceplates are beautiful, by the way. They're chrome, they're very shiny. I think they are going to be a bit prone to fingerprints. We're not going to get around that. Shiny, very shiny chrome. Looks like a little vent there in the middle. Then it's resin, the shells. One is pink, one is purple, and one is blue. Actually a nice combination between the two. So it's obviously a metal type faceplate, which I always like metal. I write that in all my reviews. I'm just a big fan of metal. You can also see through the shells into the innards of the IM, and whereas the MT4 Pro had two dynamic drivers, this MT4 Pro has a balanced armature, obviously for the eyes, and then a single dynamic driver for the bass and the mids. Yeah, I'm seeing that the nozzles look a bit long, and no complaints here with the shells and the build quality. This actually feels well built, but also light enough that it's not going to be fatiguing for your ears. If we move on to the cable, I have to say I like this cable more than the MT4 Pro. That white one from the MT4 Pro, I threw that one away. I'm not going to use that one. This is a black version though, and even though it's the same material, I like it a bit more actually. Also has that little L piece connector, and the connector is metal, which I like. I don't like plastic on a lot of things. I'm a guy that prefers metal. Let's just see how flexible this cable is. Yeah, it's pretty standard stuff. The thing is, in South Africa, these type of cables, I don't know in the other countries, I don't know if it's the temperature extremes here where I stay. When it's very hot, or when it's hot, it gets very hot, and when it's cold, it gets very cold. I don't know if it's the temperature extremes, but cables with this material, they go hard for some reason. I don't know. If you look at the silicone tips, they are also pretty standard stuff, man. It's those with the red inside. They come with most budget earphones. Also, I'm seeing some QDC connectors. I hate QDC connectors, by the way. I prefer the 0.78 2-pin connectors. I like them more, and it's just a personal preference. If we check out the fit, yeah, I've got the large tips in, and there's no way this is going to go out. Also, don't protrude much out of the ears. So yeah, checks all the boxes for a good budget earphone. And now we can move over to the connectivity. If we look at the connectivity, it's the same type of connector that the MT4 has. So it's a 3.5 millimeter. I'll just check the box here. They say jack type 3.5 millimeter. So basically, I thought you were going to get with this one in a USB-C as well, but I see now it's only 3.5 millimeter in a mic and a no mic version. Just make sure, yeah. And you can basically hook that up to anything, your cell phone. You can hook it up to your laptop, your notebook, your desktop PC, your DAP if you've got a 3.5 millimeter. So the sources you can plug these into are really anything that's got a 3.5 millimeter port or a something to 3.5 millimeter connector. You can connect these two. So yeah, now we're going to move over to the specs. If we look at the specs, like I said, it's a hybrid, so it's a one dynamic driver and one BA driver. It's also, the sensitivity is 108 dBs, and the impedance is 22 ohms, so they are going to be very, very easy to drive. You will drive this with your phone alone, even if you've got the weakest headphone amplifier inside any phone. You will be able to drive this. It's not going to be a problem at all. Cable length 1.25 centimeters, and jack type 3.5 millimeters. Pretty standard specs for a budget earphone. And with that being concluded, I'm gonna disappear for a bit, and I'm going to listen to these and put them through a few tests, and then I'm going to be back with the sound impressions. Okay, and I'm back with the sound part of the review. What I first realized after the first, I think it was the second song, is that it's definitely the ST1 is a very bright V shape. It's almost like it's very like I got the vibes when I just unboxed it that this is going to be like the KZSM Pro, and I don't know why I had that gut feeling, but I was right. It is as bright, but it doesn't have as much bass, so you can think of it as a bit of a more, not a refined, but just a KZSM Pro with less bass. When I did test for bass, the first song is a song, it's called Tattoo by Loreen. I actually like her vocals on this song, and I like it more than the bass, but I just put it on just to see what's going on with the bass. It's not very bass shy. There is bass. The only problem is the highs is overshadowing it a bit, and it makes it seem that there's not a lot of bass. Another song, Tiesto, The Business. I'm a big Tiesto fan, like his music, and The Business, the mid-bass slam is fine. It's fast and punchy, so mid-bass is really not a problem. I preferred it for a more techno type of bass music. There's a song by Dekoda, it's called Rave, Harder Techno Bass, and that song sounded really cool. There's not a lot of sub-bass in the song at first, and there's lots of mid-bass slam, so that song sounded amazing with this. So I'm not going to completely rule this out for electronic dance music. There's another song by Push, it's called Choir of Spirits, and on that song the bass is much more isolated as the highs. I think when they did the mix on that song they lowered the highs a bit, and so the bass stands out more. And then you can hear the ST1 actually has bass, it just gets overshadowed by the treble a bit. So it's definitely not for bass heads. As I think a good bass head needs a bit of more warm eyes to bring out the bass more. So it's definitely not for bass heads. If we move on over to the mids, I started with something. I wanted to test the vocals, and I wanted to test the emotion in the vocals to see how good the ST1 is with mids. And I started with a song by Adam, and the song's name's Zhurek, and on that song Adam's voice has a lot of emotion in that song. It's as if that song speaks to my soul, and on the ST1 the emotion wasn't really there. So I can immediately tell you the mids are recessed on this one. What I did was I actually listened to some heavy metal music, Sepultura, Dead, Embryonic Cells, and I actually really enjoyed this ST1 with metal and hard rock, which is weird. Yes, man, there was these fast, punchy guitar riffs, and they sounded really great. Thinking back to when I was listening now, one of my favorites, man's Smashing Pumpkins. There's a song Bullet with butterfly wings, and Billy Corgan's voice goes way up into the upper mids, and kept up good. The ST1 kept up really good with Billy Corgan's voice. It sounded a bit boosted in the upper mids though, so the rest of the mids is recessed, and then the upper mids get a bit of boost, and then we go high up into the treble with this ST1. When I tested for female vocals, I wanted to get a bit more of a pop vocal feel, so I went with Jamie Fine, If Anything's Left, and her voice sounded a little bit thin, but the ST1 still sounded better to me with female vocals than with male vocals. Same with Lacey J. Dalton. It's a song named Black Coffee. Definitely female vocals. Does not sound as recessed as the male vocals, and sounds better to me, actually. If we look at the treble, because I already established by listening for mids and bass that the song is very bright and is very treble strong. No, not the song, the ST1. I decided to check it out with some nice violins on a classical song, and it's by various artists. It's the Violin Sonata number 3 in C major BWV 1005, and man, the violin side, it sounded great. You can hear every time that bow was dragged across that string. Because this is a bright IM, it sounded really nice and in your ears. There's also a great 8-string guitar in that song, and the higher notes on the guitar, man, that sounded really nice. This is definitely a set for treble lovers. Also, the Los Angeles Jazz Ensemble, they do a song called Oh Lady Be Good, and man, there's some piano high notes there that goes really high, and it sounded so sublime on this little ST1. Those cymbals that you press with your feet, they were also in the mix there and right up there. It's boosted in the eyes, this I can tell you. Another song, God Bless the Child by Dolphy. Man, that song has got very high trumpet notes. If you're listening for treble, this is one of the best songs to listen for. It's called God Bless the Child, and man, that trumpet sounded bright and perfect. So if you're a lover of the higher notes, then this makes absolute sense. If we move over to the technicalities, the heavy metal showed me that the ST1 can keep up. That driver is fast enough to keep up with busy tracks, as well as with the transients. And I saw in the classical songs the transients, how it handles those spikes. It's very good. Very good for a budget earphone, if I may say that. The instrument separation was not that big. The instruments weren't floating around in their own space and time, so there's none of that. Well, at this price, I don't even expect any technicalities. Soundstage also to me is not a factor at this price. And now for my conclusion, I'm going to give this TRN ST1. It's a nice V-shaped tuning. It's done right. I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. I do prefer the MT4. If I have the two next to each other, and with this back to school sales and all the nice coupon codes, I had to pick between the ST1 and the MT4 Pro from TRN. I'm definitely going to go with the MT4 Pro, just because it has more bass. I still think these make great gifts. It's coming in at 182 Rand, South African Rand, $10. I mean, what can you do with $10 today? This makes really great gifts. For $100 you can give 10 people the gift of music, and I keep mentioning this in a lot of my budget earphone reviews because it's something to think about, giving someone the gift of music. If you're a lover of heavy metal music, then really this is a cool set. And if you don't have money, or you don't want to splash out more on another set, then I mean, this is cheap enough to get. If you like metal music, treble lovers, you guys are going to be crazy about this. And yeah, so that's it for my review on the ST1. Don't forget to go check out my Facebook group and the TRN giveaway, and I'll see you guys again. Guys, thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy schedules to watch my review. If you like my content, please subscribe to my channel. Bottom right is the subscribe button. If you have any questions, please feel free to hit me up in the comments. We can also join my Facebook group. A lot of cool guys there, lots of information, lots of nice products.